There comes a moment in your life when you finally awaken to a staggering truth. You are not separate from the power that created the universe. The same intelligence that spins the planets, breathes through the oceans, and orchestrates every heartbeat is the intelligence working within you right now. And when you align with this God consciousness, when you think from it, speak from it, and feel from it, you step into a dimension where life does not resist you, it responds to you. Life is not meant to be a battlefield. It is meant to be a mirror, reflecting the state of your inner world. When your mind is fragmented, life appears chaotic. But when your consciousness merges with the divine presence within, order arises, harmony appears, doors open, and the impossible bends to your belief. You become a spiritual magnet, pulling circumstances, opportunities, and people into alignment with your inner vision. The truth is simple yet extraordinary. Life always obeys the one who obeys the laws of the mind. The subconscious mind is the instrument of God, and whatever you impress upon it, faith, love, peace, abundance must manifest in your outer world with mathematical precision. You do not conquer life by force, you elevate it by consciousness. You rise into a frequency where struggle dissolves, fear loses its voice, and the universe begins to collaborate with your intentions. When you align with God consciousness, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you command. Not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty of someone who knows that the infinite is expressing itself through them. You begin to walk with a new authority, a new calmness, a new clarity, because you finally understand that the power behind all creation is the power guiding your steps. Today, I invite you to step into that alignment, to claim your identity as a divine expression, to remember that you are not here to suffer or to struggle, you are here to create, to expand, and to manifest the glory of God through your consciousness. And when you do, life will obey you, because life can only echo the greatness you choose to embody. The outer world is always a perfect reflection of the inner world, and when you align your mind with God consciousness, everything around you begins to shift in ways that seem almost miraculous. Every event, every encounter, every opportunity, and even every challenge that comes into your life is not random. It is the outpicturing of your deepest beliefs, emotions, and assumptions. When you live disconnected from the divine presence within, life appears fragmented. You feel as though things are happening to you, as though you are subject to chance, fate, or the unpredictable moods of the world. But the moment you begin to align your thoughts with the infinite intelligence that resides in the core of your being, a new order forms. Life stops being a struggle and becomes a reflection of the harmony you cultivate within. Your outer life is not controlled by other people, by circumstances, or by events. It is controlled by the energy and consciousness you carry. When you align with God consciousness, you are aligning with a vibration of peace, wisdom, clarity, and limitless possibility. This alignment becomes a magnetic force that pulls into your life the very conditions that match your inner state. If you hold thoughts of harmony, harmony appears. If you hold thoughts of abundance, abundance expresses. If you hold thoughts of peace, peace surrounds you. This is not coincidence. It is the law of consciousness. God consciousness is not a distant power somewhere in the heavens. It is the living presence within you, the creative core of your being, the silent intelligence guiding every breath. When you become aware of this presence, your mind opens to a higher state of perception. You begin to understand that the world around you is not fixed. It is fluid. It is constantly reshaping itself based on the dominant impressions in your subconscious mind. When your inner state is disordered, filled with fear, worry, resentment, or doubt, your outer world reflects the same disarray. But when your inner state is aligned with love, faith, and divine certainty, your outer world reflects that same divine order. Life is a mirror. You cannot experience in your outer conditions anything that contradicts your inner assumptions. This is why the most powerful transformation you can ever achieve is the transformation of consciousness. When you shift your inner world, your outer world cannot remain the same. It must change because it is governed by the vibration you hold within. The moment you choose to think from the divine rather than from fear, life begins to reshape itself in your favor. Consider the countless moments in your life when small changes in your thinking produced significant changes in your circumstances. The times you held on to faith and suddenly the right people appeared. The times you released worry and solutions emerged seemingly out of nowhere. The times you forgave and relationships healed. The times you believed in your worth and opportunities opened. These were not accidents. These were demonstrations of the law that your inner alignment creates your outer reality. When you align with God consciousness, you are aligning with the highest frequencies of existence. This alignment sends a command to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, in turn, reorganizes your life to match that new pattern. This is why Joseph Murphy always taught that the greatest power you possess is the power to choose the thoughts you impress upon your subconscious. The thoughts you choose become the life you live. Align with divine truth, and life must bend toward that truth. Alignment with God consciousness does not mean forcing your way through life. It means allowing the divine intelligence to guide you, direct you, and unfold your path in perfect timing. It means trusting that the same power that sustains the universe is sustaining you. It means knowing that there is no obstacle greater than the creative force within you. When you live from this awareness, you become calm, centered, and receptive. You stop fighting the world and start flowing with the divine order behind it. Your outer life is simply responding to your inner alignment. If you want your life to obey you, first let your consciousness obey the divine presence within you. Align your thoughts with God, and everything else must align with you. This is the great truth hidden in plain sight, as within, so without. Align with the infinite, and the finite world rearranges itself automatically. The subconscious mind is the silent servant of your life, a limitless reservoir of power that responds instantly and faithfully to the ideas you impress upon it. It does not question, it does not judge, it does not argue. It simply accepts the thoughts you repeatedly dwell upon and brings them into expression with absolute precision. When you realize that the subconscious mind is the instrument of the divine, you begin to understand why your beliefs shape your reality so powerfully. Every idea you allow to take root in your mind, whether of faith or fear, abundance or lack, harmony or confusion, becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious, and that seed must grow into the conditions of your life. The subconscious mind operates according to divine law, and that law is one of reflection, reproduction, and obedience to the dominant thought. When you impress divine ideas upon the subconscious ideas of peace, success, health, love, and spiritual oneness, you align yourself with the infinite creative force of God consciousness. These impressions become the blueprint from which your life takes form. Your subconscious does not create randomly. It creates according to the pattern you give it. If you hold in your mind the belief that you are guided, protected, and inspired by the infinite intelligence, your subconscious will produce conditions that confirm this truth. You will find yourself in the right place, meeting the right people, making the right decisions, and receiving intuitive instruction that leads you forward. This is not magic, it is the precise operation of divine law within your own mind. But when you impress negative ideas upon the subconscious ideas of fear, worry, limitation, or unworthiness, it must also bring these into your experience. The subconscious mind does not filter out what is harmful, it simply obeys. If you continuously tell yourself that life is difficult, that nothing works for you, or that success is out of reach, your subconscious will arrange circumstances to validate these beliefs. The outer world always reflects the inner convictions. This is why it is essential to choose your thoughts deliberately. Your mind is never neutral, it is always creating. Every belief is a command issued to the subconscious, and every command produces a result. The subconscious mind is deeply influenced by emotion, repetition, and imagination. When an idea is felt intensely, repeated often, or visualized clearly, it penetrates the subconscious more rapidly. This is why fear can manifest quickly, because it is charged with strong emotion, but the same is true for faith. When you saturate your mind with divine ideas, when you affirm your unity with God consciousness, when you imagine yourself living from a place of peace, abundance, and wisdom, the subconscious responds with precision and certainty. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious is the builder of your body and the architect of your destiny. This is not poetic language. It is the literal truth of how human consciousness functions. If you constantly declare that you are strong, healthy, guided, prosperous, and inspired by the divine, your subconscious will marshal the forces of life to fulfill that declaration. It will regulate your body, guide your decisions, attract opportunities, dissolve obstacles, and lead you into alignment with the divine plan for your life. Understanding that the subconscious obeys the divine ideas you impress upon it gives you both responsibility and freedom. The responsibility is to guard your thoughts, to refuse to dwell on anything you do not want to manifest. The freedom comes from knowing that you are not bound by your past, your circumstances, or the opinions of others. You can choose new beliefs at any moment, and the subconscious will respond. You can plant new seeds, and the garden of your life will change accordingly. God consciousness expresses through the subconscious as harmony, order, abundance, and peace. When you impress divine ideas upon your mind, you open the door for this infinite intelligence to act through you. You become a channel through which the divine flows freely. Your thoughts become prayers, your beliefs become commands, and your inner alignment becomes the force that shapes your destiny. The subconscious mind obeys what you persistently believe. It takes the images you hold, the feelings you cultivate, and the assumptions you repeat, and it turns them into the fabric of your experience. When you choose divine ideas, when you choose faith over fear, when you choose truth over appearances, your subconscious immediately begins the work of reshaping your life. It does not delay, it does not hesitate, it simply obeys, and when it obeys the divine within you, life obeys you. When you begin to think from the divine instead of thinking from fear, limitation, or past experiences, something extraordinary happens. The outer world starts to rearrange itself automatically to match your new inner state. This is one of the greatest spiritual laws and one of the most misunderstood. People often try to change their lives by working harder, struggling more, forcing outcomes, or manipulating circumstances. But the true transformation begins not in effort, but in consciousness. The moment you lift your thoughts to the level of God consciousness, when you begin to think as if the divine were expressing through you, life responds with a precision and order that feels miraculous. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are creating from within it. Thinking from the divine means assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, thinking from abundance instead of thinking toward it, thinking from peace instead of chasing it, thinking from wholeness rather than trying to fix brokenness. When you think from the divine, you are thinking from the end, from the truth of your being rather than from the illusions of lack or fear. This shift in consciousness is not subtle. It is powerful enough to reshape circumstances without struggle. The universe responds instantly to the state of consciousness you occupy. It must, because your consciousness is the cause and your life is the effect. When you think from the divine, your mind aligns with infinite intelligence, and this intelligence begins to orchestrate events in ways your limited reasoning could never plan. People appear at the right time. Opportunities unfold in perfect sequence. Problems resolve themselves. Paths open effortlessly. Solutions that once seemed hidden or impossible rise into clarity. This is because God consciousness is a state of wholeness, harmony, and perfect order. When you inhabit this state, your world must reflect it, just as a calm lake reflects the sky clearly. Chaos cannot coexist with the divine within you. The higher vibration dissolves the lower. Circumstances rearrange not because you force them, but because the law of life states that the outer must reflect the inner. If you continue to dwell in fear, worry, or doubt, you project confusion into the world, and your experiences reflect that confusion. But when you elevate your mind to the divine within, when you say internally, I am guided by infinite wisdom, I am aligned with the power that created all things, then your inner world shifts and the outer must shift alongside it. This is why spiritual masters emphasize inner alignment over outer effort. Trying to change the world while your consciousness remains unchanged is like trying to adjust the reflection in a mirror without touching the face that causes it. Thinking from the divine also means trusting the unseen. It means knowing that the invisible forces of creation are already moving on your behalf. It means assuming that the outcome you desire is already accomplished in the realm of spirit, and your only task is to align with it mentally and emotionally. Once you do, the subconscious mind begins the process of manifestation. It draws the right ideas, circumstances, and relationships into your life with mathematical precision. You do not need to know how it will happen. The subconscious mind, guided by divine intelligence, handles the details. When you think from the divine, you also rise above the noise of appearance. You no longer react to temporary situations as if they were final. You understand that appearances are nothing more than old thought patterns expressing themselves. Instead of accepting the outer world as reality, you claim the higher truth and let that truth reshape what you see. You may be facing difficulty, but from the divine perspective, there is always a solution, always a path, always a way forward. Your new state of consciousness dissolves the old conditions effortlessly. This inner shift produces an unmistakable outer transformation. You begin to speak differently with calm authority. You walk differently with quiet confidence. You make decisions from clarity, not fear. And the world responds. It responds because your energy has changed, your assumptions have changed, and your subconscious has accepted a new direction. The divine does not struggle to create. It simply is asterisk. And when you think from that divine state, creation becomes natural, automatic, and aligned. When you inhabit the consciousness of God, you are rooted in the truth that everything is already working out for your highest good. The universe is always reorganizing itself around your dominant thought. Think from fear, and life mirrors fear. Think from the divine, and life mirrors the divine. And so, when you truly think from the divine, circumstances rearrange effortlessly, not because you forced anything, but because you finally aligned with the power that governs everything. Harmony, abundance, and success are not gifts given to a chosen few, nor are they rewards that must be earned through endless struggle. They are natural outcomes of spiritual alignment, expressions of a deeper order that exists within you and around you at all times. When you align with God consciousness, you align with the state from which all good flows. You align with the creative power that formed the universe, the intelligence that guides all life, and the limitless supply that sustains every living being. In this alignment, you discover that harmony is not something you must chase, abundance is not something you must acquire, and success is not something you must force. Instead, they arise naturally, effortlessly, as the reflection of your inner state. To live in harmony means to live in accordance with the divine order that governs all things. When your thoughts are filled with peace, when your emotions are centered in faith rather than fear, and when your beliefs are aligned with truth rather than appearances, your life becomes a natural expression of that peace. Situations that once felt stressful begin to smooth out. Relationships that were tense soften. Conflicts dissolve in ways you could not have predicted. This is not coincidence. It is the law of alignment. When the energy within you is harmonious, the world around you cannot help but reflect that harmony. Abundance, too, is a natural expression of alignment with God consciousness. The universe is infinitely abundant. Everything in nature expresses this truth without hesitation. Trees grow without effort, oceans flow without fear, and the sun shines without doubt. There is no lack in the divine design. Lack is only an experience created by human consciousness when it becomes disconnected from its source. But when you align with the infinite, the boundless, ever-giving presence within, you tap into the same supply that sustains all creation. You begin to understand that abundance is not something you accumulate. It is something you embody. And once you embody it, life responds with opportunities, ideas, resources, and connections that mirror your inner richness. Success becomes natural when your consciousness is aligned with the divine, because success in its truest form is the expression of your inner purpose, your inner truth, and your inner brilliance. When you operate from fear, ego, or desperation, success becomes a struggle. You chase results, battle obstacles, and exhaust yourself trying to force outcomes. But when you operate from a place of alignment, when you allow divine intelligence to guide your steps, success flows through inspired action, not forced action. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. You say the right words naturally. You attract the right people effortlessly. You make decisions with clarity instead of confusion. The path that once felt heavy suddenly becomes light, because you are no longer walking alone. You are walking with the infinite. Harmony, abundance, and success flow naturally because alignment removes resistance. Most of the struggle people experience in life comes not from external circumstances, but from internal resistance, conflicting beliefs, buried fears, negative assumptions, and emotional blockages that distort the flow of divine energy within. When you align with God consciousness, you dissolve those blockages. You release the fear that once held you back. You quiet the doubts that once clouded your mind. You let go of the limiting beliefs you once accepted as truth. In this inner clearing, the divine can express itself freely through you, and that expression appears outwardly as the harmonizing of your life. This alignment also changes the way you perceive challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you see them as opportunities for expansion. Instead of reacting with worry or resistance, you respond with inner calmness and spiritual confidence. This shift in perception alone can change the entire trajectory of your life. When you approach challenges from divine alignment, solutions arise naturally, often in ways beyond your imagination. The problem dissolves because you are perceiving it from a higher state of consciousness. In this elevated state, your intuition becomes sharper. You sense what direction to take. You feel when to act and when to wait. You are guided by an inner wisdom that never fails. This wisdom is the voice of divine intelligence expressing through your subconscious mind. When you follow it, doors open effortlessly. Synchronicities become common. Life organizes itself around your highest good. The truth is simple. Harmony, abundance, and success are spiritual states before they are physical experiences. When you align with God consciousness, those states become the natural, effortless flow of your life. You stop fighting the world and instead allow divine order to unfold through you. And when you reach this state, you realize what spiritual masters have always taught, that nothing external has the power to disturb the one who is aligned with the infinite. Life begins to move with you, not against you. Everything flows, everything aligns, and everything unfolds with a grace that can only come from God. Fear loses its power the moment you recognize your oneness with infinite intelligence. Fear thrives only when you feel separated from the divine, when you believe you are alone, unsupported, or vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of life. But the instant you awaken to the truth that the presence of God lives within you, works through you, and surrounds you, fear dissolves like darkness in the presence of light. It cannot remain where truth is acknowledged. Fear is nothing but the absence of awareness of your divine origin, your divine support, and your divine identity. When you remember who you are in relation to the infinite, fear has no foundation to stand on. Every fear you have ever experienced was born from the belief that you are limited, powerless, or separate from the source that created all things. These are illusions of the conditioned mind. The ego believes in separation, and from that illusion arises fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of lack, and fear of the unknown. But these fears have no reality in the mind aligned with God consciousness. You cannot fear lack when you know the infinite supply flows within you. You cannot fear failure when you understand that divine wisdom guides every step you take. You cannot fear rejection when the love of the divine is your constant companion. You cannot fear the future when you trust the infinite power directing your path. When you recognize your oneness with infinite intelligence, fear no longer dictates your decisions or controls your emotions. You begin to operate from a place of inner certainty, not from reactive worry. You understand that you are never without help, never without guidance, never without the creative power of the universe working on your behalf. This understanding does not come from wishful thinking, but from direct alignment with the truth of your being. The divine within you is greater than any external problem, and when you align with that truth, fear loses its voice. The presence of fear in your life is simply an indicator that your awareness has shifted away from your divine connection. It is a signal, not a sentence. The moment you bring your attention back to the truth that infinite intelligence is the source of your ideas, your strength, your intuition, and your supply, fear fades. No amount of fear can survive the recognition of truth. Just as no shadow can remain when light fills the room, no fear can persist in the mind filled with divine awareness. Fear also dissolves when you understand the nature of your subconscious mind. The subconscious is deeply influenced by the thoughts and images you dwell upon. When you feed it fear, it expresses fear. When you feed it divine truth, it expresses divine truth. So when you consciously choose to affirm your oneness with God consciousness, your subconscious begins to absorb that truth and reproduce it in your feelings, your reactions, and your outer experiences. This is why spiritual alignment not only removes fear, but replaces it with confidence, peace, and inner authority. Oneness with infinite intelligence also gives you courage, the courage to act even when circumstances appear challenging. This courage is not arrogance. It is the quiet power that comes from knowing you are backed by something far greater than your own personal strength. You begin to step forward with the assurance that the universe supports your movement. You no longer wait for everything to be perfect before you advance. You take action from faith, not from fear, and the path reveals itself as you walk. Fear often warns you of imagined scenarios, but infinite intelligence reveals truth. Fear says something will go wrong. The divine says everything is unfolding for your highest good. Fear says you are too small. The divine says you are an expression of infinite power. Fear says you are alone. The divine says, I am with you always. When you align with this truth, fear becomes irrelevant because you no longer identify with the limited self that fear tries to protect. Instead, you identify with your spiritual self, the self that cannot be harmed, cannot be diminished, and cannot be separated from its source. As your awareness deepens, you begin to see that fear was never an enemy. It was a teacher pointing you back to your alignment. It showed you where your belief in separation was still active, and when you corrected that belief by returning to your oneness with infinite intelligence, fear completed its purpose and disappeared. In the state of divine alignment, you live with a calmness that cannot be shaken by external events. Even challenges lose their ability to intimidate you because you face them not as a limited individual, but as a vessel of infinite intelligence. This awareness transforms your entire experience of life. You walk with clarity, you speak with authority, and you move with confidence, not because of ego, but because of alignment. When you truly realize your oneness with God, you no longer ask, what if things go wrong? Instead, you know with certainty everything is guided, everything is supported, and everything is unfolding perfectly. In this awareness, fear dissolves completely, for it has no place in the consciousness of the infinite. When your belief matches the power within you, life begins to obey you, not because you are forcing it, but because you are finally aligned with the truth of your own nature. Every belief you hold is a command issued to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, guided by divine intelligence, arranges your life to reflect those commands precisely. When your belief is small, fragmented, and rooted in fear, life mirrors that smallness. But when your belief rises to meet the infinite power that lives within you, when you believe in your divine identity, your divine purpose, and your divine authority, life bends, reshapes, rearranges, and reorganizes itself around that elevated consciousness. The outer world cannot help but obey the inner truth you accept. This is one of the great spiritual secrets. Life does not respond to what you want *. It responds to what you believe *. Your desires are intentions, but your beliefs are laws. You may want abundance, but if you believe in lack, lack will express. You may want success, but if you believe you are unworthy of it, failure will express. You may want harmony, but if you believe conflict is inevitable, conflict will express. The moment your belief matches the immense power within you, the moment you believe what the divine already knows to be true about you, your life shifts instantly. You are no longer trying to manifest outcomes from a place of doubt. You are creating from a place of certainty. The power within you is limitless. It is the very essence of God consciousness, wise, creative, loving, and infinitely abundant. It does not diminish, weaken, or retreat. It is always present, always active, always ready to express through you. But it can only express to the degree that you believe. Belief is the channel through which divine power flows into your life. When the channel is blocked by fear, doubt, or small thinking, the flow is limited. But when the channel is open through faith, conviction, and spiritual alignment, the divine flows through you with irresistible strength. It becomes visible in your relationships, your opportunities, your finances, your health, and your peace of mind. When belief matches power, your inner world becomes a place of stability. You stop reacting to external conditions with panic or confusion. Instead, you respond with certainty. You know that no matter what appears before you, the divine within you is greater. You carry yourself differently. Your words become more intentional. Your actions become more confident. Your decisions become clearer. And because your inner world has stabilized, the outer world begins to reflect that stability back to you. The chaos you once experienced begins to settle. The delays you once faced begin to dissolve. The barriers you once feared begin to fall away. Life obeys the consciousness of the one who knows their power. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is the deep inner knowing that what you desire is already aligned with your divine nature. When you believe, you do not hope for results, you expect them. You do not beg life to treat you well. You assume life must rise to match your inner certainty. This expectation is not arrogance, it is spiritual truth. When you know the infinite intelligence within you is guiding, supporting, and expressing through you, your belief naturally expands to match that truth. You stop identifying with limitations, and you start identifying with the divine presence that cannot be limited. This alignment also transforms the way you approach challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you see them as opportunities for divine power to demonstrate itself through you. You meet difficulties with faith rather than fear. You move through uncertainty with confidence rather than hesitation. The challenges that once discouraged you now reveal your strength. You realize that nothing has the power to stop you unless you believe it does. And when your belief matches the power within you, the idea of being stopped becomes impossible. This elevated belief also changes how you attract experiences. You begin to attract opportunities that resonate with your higher identity because your energy, your thoughts, and your assumptions have risen to a higher level. People respond to you differently, doors open unexpectedly, synchronicities unfold, life becomes cooperative rather than resistant. You are no longer pushing against circumstances, you are moving with the flow of divine intelligence. You become a magnet for everything that aligns with your spiritual truth. When your belief finally matches the power within you, you live from a place of inner authority. You understand that your life is not shaped by external conditions, but by the consciousness you carry within. You realize that nothing outside you has the power to dictate your destiny. You embody the truth that the divine is not only with you, but expressing through you. And because of that, life obeys you not through force, but through alignment, not by effort, but by truth, not by luck, but by law. You become the creator of your experience because you have united belief with the infinite power that has always lived within you. When you reach the end of this journey, one truth becomes unmistakably clear. Life is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. Every experience, every change, every result is shaped by the consciousness you choose to embody. When you align yourself with God consciousness, the infinite mind, the limitless intelligence, the boundless love, you stop living as a creature of circumstances and rise into the role of creator of outcomes. You begin to see that fear was only a shadow, lack was only a misunderstanding, and struggle was merely the result of forgetting who walks within you. The moment you truly remember, that the presence of God is your source, your support, your supply, and your strength, life begins to move in harmony with your intentions. You discover that the universe is not resisting you, it is responding to you. It mirrors back the images you hold, the beliefs you nurture, the truths you accept. When your inner state becomes one of harmony, peace, confidence, and divine certainty, the outer world reshapes itself in remarkable ways. People appear at the right time, opportunities unfold in perfect sequence, doors open without force. Solutions rise effortlessly, as though guided by an invisible hand, because they are. The same intelligence that spins galaxies, grows forests, and orchestrates seasons begins orchestrating your affairs with precision and grace. And you realize, often with awe, that nothing was ever missing. You were simply learning to tune yourself to a higher frequency. This alignment with God consciousness is not a mystical event reserved for saints, sages, or spiritual masters. It is a living, breathing reality available to anyone willing to quiet the noise, surrender the ego, and listen to the whisper of the infinite within. It is a shift from anxiety to assurance, from striving to trusting, from trying to control life to cooperating with life. When you make this shift, you stop begging the world for change and begin commanding change through the authority of divine alignment. Because when your thoughts are harmonized with divine truth, they carry power. When your beliefs are rooted in God, they carry certainty. And when your emotions flow from love instead of fear, they radiate a frequency that reorganizes circumstances in your favor. What you have learned in this journey is not philosophy, it is practice. It is the daily choosing of faith over doubt, clarity over confusion, alignment over resistance. Every moment offers you a choice, and every choice becomes a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious mind. Plant divine seeds, and divine experiences cannot help but blossom. You are not separate from the power that creates worlds. You are an expression of it. You are not begging from the infinite, you are participating in it, and as you continue to align with the consciousness of God, you will discover that life is not chaotic, random, or unpredictable. It is precise, it is responsive, it is obedient to the vibration you carry within, so let this message remain with you. You are never powerless. You are never alone. You are never without guidance or support. The presence of God walks with you, breathes through you, and expresses itself as you. And when you align with that presence, when you choose thoughts that honor it, when you speak words that reflect it, and when you act from the truth of it, life will rise to meet you. Life will bend in your favor. Life will obey the consciousness you bring to it. Step forward now, not as a seeker, but as a knower. Not as one hoping for change, but as one creating change. Not as a limited being, but as a carrier of divine intelligence. You are aligned, you are guided, you are empowered. And as you move with God consciousness, your life will unfold in ways that confirm again and again that the universe recognizes the authority of the one who knows who they truly are.